All right, guys, I want to get into the main event for today, which is I want to watch this video of AOC taunting her audience at a town hall that she gave last night, I guess, in Brooklyn. So this is October 19th, 2022, Queens, shouting protesters disrupted part of AOC's listening event in Astoria. So AOC was holding a listen. So, I'm sure many of you saw the amazing video that came out. What was it? Like last week? It must have been last week, where an AOC event was disrupted by these college students who laid into her on supporting the war. And these were progressives. So you could they disrupted her event, they shouted at her, they made such fire points. It was amazing. And it was like a sight to see, and you're kind of like, oh my God, are AOC's constituents turning against her? Well, that's just a couple of college students at one event. You can't say there's going to be a pattern from that. But then video emerged today, and I saw a couple of clips of it, but I haven't watched the whole thing yet, where these people are pissed off. These are AOC's constituents. They are pissed off and yelling at her and protesting her. And she, in response, I saw a clip of her dancing to their drumming, protesting her event. And I saw a picture of her putting on a really awful accent to kind of mock them. And I was like, holy shit. Has she lost her damn mind? AOC is seriously taunting her own audience? Now, do I think that this means that AOC is going to lose election? No, not in any way. But it is an indicator that things might be a little shifty, a little changing. I might make some arguments in this portion of the video that some of you might find hard to swallow because of how much you hate AOC. And again, we're going to watch this whole video, so I don't know exactly how this played out, but I want to kind of prep you for the audience, the argument rather, that I think I'm going to make. Now, as you know, I wrote a whole book about how to fight back against the woke progressive left, right? It's called Actively Unwoke, the ultimate guide for fighting back against the woke insanity in your life. You can order a copy of it. The link is down below, activelyunwoke.com, all that good stuff. But the reason I say this is because I have a chapter in my book called Rules for the Actively Unwoke. It's kind of based off of Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals, but we have our own rules as part of the Actively Unwoke, okay? Rule number 8 is that you never bend the knee to a mob. And I bring this up because never bending the knee to a mob is a good rule for almost any mob. So I don't know that I'm actually necessarily opposed to AOC not bending the knee to an angry mob, even if they are her own constituents. I actually think there is a possibility, and again, you have to detach yourself from this. Whether or not you like AOC should not influence how you judge the correctness of AOC's behavior. You have to emotionally detach yourself from the thing. I don't like AOC. I think AOC is a fucking lunatic, but I'm not necessarily convinced that it was wrong for her to play with the mob rather than bending the knee to the mob. I'm not convinced she wasn't right. Now, that's still going to be funny, and I'm still going to watch it, and I'm going to enjoy her. I'm going to really enjoy her getting yelled at, because I think that that's just interesting, right? But I want just to prepare people mentally that I might make the argument that even though AOC is getting yelled at by her own constituents, even though she's acting like a fool, even though she's all over Twitter for acting like a lunatic, it might not have actually been the worst decision. Now, I could be wrong, and I may change my mind in the course of watching the video, but I just want to plant that seed. Just because someone taunts a mob doesn't actually mean that's the wrong decision. It's going to make the mob more angry. But is AOC still going to win re-election? Yes. AOC is 100% going to win re-election. So does it really matter? Should she have given into the mob when her chances of reelection were not really jeopardized at all? Or should she hold her ground and say, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, and in 2 years, you're going to forget about all of this anyway, and you're still going to vote for me again? Okay, I'm not suggesting she actually said that or should say that. That would probably be a horrible thing to actually say. But AOC knows what's up. AOC knows she's not losing. And so AOC can taunt a mob of her own voters. And guess what? They're still probably going to go to the polls and vote for her because they would sooner vote for someone who mocks them to their face than vote for a Republican. Is there even a Republican in her district? Actually, Dr. Lara, since she's your rep, is there even a Republican running against her? Are they even trying? Because there have been times when the Republicans haven't even tried. Let me know. I'm actually curious. But let's watch this video, guys. Please mount the like button if you have not already. I do almost daily streams, though not totally daily, mostly daily, around news, politics, culture, the woke left, socialism, sometimes sticks, hex, and hammer if I'm feeling saucy. But let's watch this video and let's see how it goes.
If you're gay, you can have a house, but if you're not gay, you have to live on the street. Is that how it goes? No,
you're just talking nonsense. You're not answering questions.
So if I don't have butt sex, I can't have a place to live. But if I do, I'm good.
Wait, he just said, if I don't have butt sex, I can't have a place to live. But if I do, I'm good. I love that guy. This guy is already the hero we need.
That's what you're saying, right? That's what she's saying. She's saying it's housing for LGBTQ. No, I'm just making the point. I know, but I'm just telling you the point. Because my question is well, that's where that's just unfair. That's like racist. That's like racist against straight people.
He just said that's like racist against straight people. That's okay. So what's going on is they're talking about LGBTQ housing, apparently. And this guy in the brown shirt is like the hero we need. He's like, so if I can't have butt sex, that means I don't have any place to live. And then he says it's racist against straight people. Oh man, let's watch this guy in the brown shirt and the white hat.
That was there 20 times. That was a 9/11 FDNY. Yes. This is insanity.
Yes. That's what we want to do.
The black boy that was stabbed on the train platform.
Yes.
Okay, I'm confused right now of if the crowd is saying let her speak or let him speak. I think it's let her speak, but it could also be let him speak. I'm not sure. But it sounds like let her speak. And just so you guys know, so like I don't know how many of you are listening on headphones, but just I might hear things that are maybe said quietly, and I'll try to relay those if I can in case you guys can't hear them on whatever. Yeah, I think it's let her speak. You guys are right. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Wait, I definitely saw a fuck Joe Biden sign. Did you guys see that? Hang on. Let's look at, hang on. Oh, no, I want to stop on the sign. No. There it is. Fuck Joe Biden sign right there. We, the people, will not comply. Where the fuck were these people during vaccine mandates? Where were these people? That one woman's wearing a free speech t-shirt. Where were these people during vaccine mandates? Not that there's anything wrong with the vaccine. The vaccine is perfectly safe, and YouTube requires me to say that every time I mention the vaccine. Otherwise, I might get a strike on my channel. So the vaccine is perfectly safe. Everyone should really get it, especially definitely get your kids vaccinated, because God knows CDC would never tell you to do something that wasn't completely safe, and you should do whatever is best for you and your family. But just know that the vaccine is completely safe and 100% effective, and definitely prevents transmission of the coronavirus. So you should all be vaccinated. What does that woman's shirt say? Free speech more important than your feelings. Wow, what a badass. You know what? I just have to say, I have to really say, I don't know if these people progressives? They don't seem like they're progressives. They don't seem like they're progressives at all. But what I really appreciate is they're using progressive tactics. If these people are not progressives, they are absolutely using progressive tactics. Like that guy who said that LGBT like housing is racist against straight people. Like he's getting into it. Can you imagine what could actually happen if the fucking right finally started learning how to use progressive tactics in the same way that progressives use them? It would be amazing. Redwood the Elf says, speaking of shirts, when can we expect the new ones you wrote down last time to be ready? I was working on it today, Redwood Elf. I was working on it today. I will have you know, I do have them written down. I'm 100% serious about those shirts coming soon. You know what? If conservatives can finally learn to get a good fucking bongo drum and bring it with them to events to disrupt things and actually force people to listen to them, I'm completely all for it. I think that would be great. Maybe the right can learn a lesson from this. She's dancing. So there she is, dancing and mocking the drum playing, which again, I'm not actually convinced is something that AOC shouldn't have done. You never bend the knee to a mob when the mob is at your doorstep, because if you bend the knee to a mob, even if they might have a fair point, you are going to be beholden to that mob forever. AOC is well aware that she's going to win re-election in a couple of weeks. She is well aware that ain't none of those people who are mad at her right now are voting for her, but it really doesn't matter because she's going to win in a landslide anyway. So I'm not entirely sure that was a bad move.
Very classy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Are running up the street of New York. They got some people like you. Come on, AOC, answer the question.
Good for her.
You asked me if you think that I look that's not nice. It's not nice. That's not nice.
Respectfully, ma'am, you're saying ask us why. Y'all been talking for 20 minutes, okay? We know why. We know why you're mad.
Well, AOC, okay, here is where she's having a little bit of a misstep, okay? So AOC danced, she taunted her own crowd, which I actually, again, don't think that there was necessarily, like, you know, whatever. However, now AOC is getting pissed. What we're seeing happen is now she's getting pissed. And she says, you know, respectfully, ma'am, respectfully, you've been talking for 20 minutes. AOC, if you hold a meeting that you call a listening forum, then your job is to sit your ass there and listen to people talk for as long as they want to talk. Here's the question I have. Now she's getting fucking persnickety. And this is where things are going to turn against her. Again, I'm not necessarily saying that like she's going to lose a re-election, because she's absolutely not. But like you can tell that AOC is getting just as triggered as Styx Hexenhammer. And she's making comments. And what's going to happen is things are just going to get worse, because she's making some comments. Naruto DM'd you a thread and an article on the topic. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, if you are going to implement the don't bend the knee to the mob strategy, you can continue to make comments to the mob. You can continue to antagonize the mob, which is exactly what AOC is doing here. But you need to be very well prepared for the mob's response if you're going to do that. And listen, I speak from experience on this. I am the queen effing bee of taunting a mob that's angry at me, because I don't care. They can have whatever feelings they want, and they're still not going to interrupt my feelings. So they can scream and cry and and I'll just sit back and enjoy it. I started a whole fucking website about enjoying triggering people. Like, I'm not actually opposed to this, but I just want to make sure people are aware that if you're going to like, not bending the knee to the mob is one thing. Saying no is one thing, but taunting the mob tends to make things escalate and tends to make things get a little bit worse. Some people might be able to handle it. Some people might not be able to handle it. I just want to make sure that I'm giving the advice and the qualification that if you're going to taunt an angry mob, there's probably going to be repercussions for that, particularly when AOC is hosting a listening forum. It's called the listening forum, so I'm going to assume that was what it was called. Her job is literally to sit there and listen. That is her job. And so complaining about the fact that she has to listen to other people talk, that's, it's a strategy. I don't think it's the best one she could have picked. Maybe that's just me.
Let's talk about it.
Wait, did she just say there's two fucking genders? Hang on. I think this woman just screamed, "I'm not a man. There's only two fucking genders." Let me just rewind that. That was great. I love this woman. This woman is like so spicy.
Mad. Let's talk about it.
Why can't all conservatives get this angry? This woman, if anyone knows this woman's name, I want to talk to her. I want to help this woman train conservatives on how to do fucking activism. I'm not even joking. Why can't this woman teach other conservatives how to do this? Because, like, if there were conservatives doing this in every city, we wouldn't have an issue right now. Good for her. Oh, this guy's getting, yeah!
Here. Okay.
Oh, that bodes well. Now there's blacklight, there's a rave. Did the power just go out? What the fuck just happened? Oh, she left. She left. Oh, security.
I'm not allowed to be in a room with the lights turn off. It gets a little. That's one of the things. All right. Listen. You all have made your point. If you want to keep going, we can go all night. Whatever it is.
Now she's basically like acting like she has better places to be. AOC's like, I could go to a late dinner in Manhattan, but you guys can keep talking if you want to. Like, it's so condescending and bitchy. Okay, I know how this woman gets elected. She won herself a primary and now, like, no one can defeat her. But, like, this is insane. The people who are continuing to vote for AOC are insane. This woman is like, she is like a one piece of work, man.
Okay, guys, let me ask the question.
You ready to wait our place in line?
Are we ready to wait our place in line? So now AOC's like, are you, honey, calm down. Are you ready? She is like such a condescending bitch. I'm sorry. Anyone who votes for AOC gets exactly what they deserve. They deserve to be treated like this if they vote for AOC because she's showing them. Any progressive who votes for AOC, well, anyone really, but like especially progressives, if someone shows you that at a listening session, you're going to be mocked, you're going to be condescended to, you're going to be basically patted on the head and given a lollipop and tell you, oh, wait your turn in line, honey. Whoever votes for her deserves to be mocked and deserves to be condescended to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she was impersonating Rosie Perez, Awesome Human, and it's good to see you. Haven't seen you in a minute.
It is shocking to me. Shocking. Yes, shocking to me that there are so many young people in this room that are setting an example for how to conduct ourselves, all right?
Oh my God. See, so this is what AOC's talking about here. I wrote about this recently. Where did I write about this? I think it was on Art of the Trigger, actually. In the very first article on artofthetrigger.com, I wrote about how triggering, basically like every triggering is good for people. And what I said in that article was that 20-somethings tend to act like they believe 40-somethings should act. So 20-somethings are much more likely to be like buttoned up and proper, and they don't want to speak out of turn, and they're very interested in professionalism. And then once they get into their 30s, they start to like relax a little bit. They start to understand how the world really works. They start to maybe move up the ladder. They start to interact with their executives who really don't give an F. But by the time they get to their 40s, they run out of fucks to give. And so when people are in their 40s, and I'm making generalizations, but it does tend to be really true. People in their 40s, after they have run out of fucks to give, as some of these people clearly have, they tend to act how we perceive as being immature, unprofessional, and 20-somethings, because they're playing the part of being an adult, tend to act like they believe that older people really do act, which is professional and put together, and they don't want to speak out of turn and all these things. And so when AOC says, we have younger people in the room here who are, they're setting the example for behavior. What AOC is really doing is revealing her true age, which is that she's young. And AOC has a lot more life experience than most people her age, simply because of the position that she's gotten herself into. But make no mistake, when AOC hits 40, AOC is really going to become a nightmare after she turns 40. Mark my words. AOC is going to be a terror after she hits 40. Because you think AOC is bad now? After she hits 40, she is going to completely run out of fucks. She's going to have a lot of money because of the position that she's gotten herself into. She's going to have a lot of contacts. She's going to have an even more ginormous audience than she has now. And she's not going to give a fuck anymore. If you think AOC gives a fuck now or doesn't give a fuck now, just wait. Just wait a couple of years. Because it's coming. And I don't think it's going to be pretty. Yeah, Deborah says, AOC in menopause will be a sight to behold.
Fake tears. Let her speak. Because I'm not afraid. I know what I need to feel. I have God. I don't need government. I don't need big fucking
Exactly, Gayla. Exactly. AOC is going to be exactly like Hillary. 100%.
In the same blood is going down.
Gayla is making such a great point here. Like after AOC hits 40, AOC is going to turn into Hillary Clinton Part 2. There is no doubt in my mind. So the people in New York need to get her out of power. AOC needs to be put in the corner. Again, that's not going to happen this election cycle. We all know that. But if the people of New York don't get AOC the F out of power, they get what they get. Our experience in this life will be the sum total of our contributions. If the people of New York don't care enough to put someone competent and that is not a raging narcissist, and I wouldn't say psychopath, but AOC is absolutely a narcissist. If the people in New York don't care enough to like nominate anyone better, they get what they get. I'm sorry. Elections have consequences. It is what it is.
She's gonna explain it, so shut up for 1 minute. Okay, shut up. I want to ask her why she keep on the police, why innocent blood are going down the street, and she's gonna explain to you why. Okay? So give her a chance to explain. We all want the same answer. Give her a chance to explain. Okay, please. Say something.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Again, why are more conservatives doing this at every Democrat event ever? Can the RNC just buy a whole bunch of like those bongo drums and mail them out to conservative groups that are in liberal cities? Can they please? Can the RNC do anything? And by the way, like, so this is not directly related to this video, but I want to say this. A lot of people know that Scott Presler has been very, very sick lately. He's been in the hospital. I did just see that he has now gotten out of the hospital, which I think is great, but he's going to have months of time where he needs recovery. Months and months and months. There is not another Scott Presler on the conservative side. There's one of him. Scott Presler has been taken out of the game because he has worked himself ill to the point where he was hospitalized for a week. That's how bad it got. And there were probably underlying illnesses and issues there anyway. I'm not saying that. But if you don't think that Scott Presler's work schedule directly led to the fact that he landed himself in the hospital for 8 days and is now facing down months of recovery time at home, that happened because there is one Scott Presler. And he was trying to do everything with zero help from the RNC. The RNC has never put Scott Presler on the payroll, and it is one of the stupidest mistakes that the RNC has ever made. If the conservatives don't learn from the reality of their most effective activist in the country ending up in the hospital weeks before an election because he was working so hard and is now facing months of recovery time where he can't do activism, if conservatives don't learn from this and start training more Scott Preslers, I don't know what to tell you. As soon as Scott Presler recovers, the very first thing that should happen is the RNC needs to put him on the payroll in order to have him train 100 people just like him. Because they need to develop a group of people that can do the same thing that Scott Presler does, because now, as we've seen, conservatives had one activist, one in the entire country, one that was going out there every day working to register more voters. They had one. And now he's sidelined. And this should be a lesson to the RNC and the entire conservative base. Scott, and I don't even want Republicans to win, and I'm giving you this advice because it's really good advice. If Republicans were smart, they would immediately, as soon as Scott Presler is capable of it, put him on the payroll of the RNC and make his only job to train more activists like him. Scott Presler's job should be to train 100 more Scott Preslers, 100 more people who can go out all over the country and knock on doors and register voters every single day. And then once those people come up to snuff and those people learn Scott Presler's techniques, then the RNC needs to pay them to each train an additional 100 people for each of them. This is the game changer for the RNC for generations. Will they do it? Probably not, because they don't like that Scott Presler is gay. And so even though he is their most effective activist, even though Scott Presler has personally registered more Republican voters than anyone else in the country, even though him being sick is a massive hit leading up to the midterm elections, because he is gay, the RNC will not support him. The RNC will never put him on the payroll and never give him the position and status that he damn well deserves based on years of work and activism. And I think that's a shame. And I don't even want Republicans to win. But if Republicans did that, if Republicans paid Scott Presler to train 100 more Scott Preslers and gave them the resources to go out and go all over the country and do what Scott Presler has been doing on his own for years, that would be a game changer for the Republican Party for a generation that would not be able to be overcome by any nonsense that the Democrats want to pull. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. Probably because it makes way too much sense. All right, guys, let's finish this up. Mount the like button for me if you're enjoying this already. Oh, they changed the chant. They changed the chant.
AOC! AOC!
Oh my God! Do you see those good liberal activists come up? Like, they were sitting in their chairs, they were looking so forlorn, and then the guy was like, no, let's just do another chant, and they changed the chant.
AOC! 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 AOC!
Hey, conservatives, if this happens and all they do is change the chant, you just need to shout louder. You just need to shout louder. You just need to project. There's nothing wrong with shouting when you're trying to shout over your opposition. And it would really piss them off and trigger them, and it would be glorious.
So that's an immigrant community, and we respect white American, black American, Spanish American. That's what the country is all about. We have to give Alexandria a chance to talk. You express yourself. You made up your mind. Listen to her, please.
We brought in psychologists, all of them. You know what we found? Here's what we found. Here's the facts. We reduced reoccurrence of crime by more than 50%.
What did AOC say they reduced by 50% using psychologists? I didn't catch that. Did anyone else hear that? AOC said something about like we brought in psychologists and we reduced something by 50%. I'm gonna rewind and try to listen again. But if anyone hears what she said, that would be great.
Listen to her, please.
We brought in psychologists, all of them. You know what we found? Here's what we found. Here's the facts. We reduced reoccurrence of crime by more than 50%.
I'm not sure. I think like recidivism maybe, which is fine. And that's standing ovation right there. That standing ovation right there is why AOC has nothing to worry about. This is why I sometimes get a little worried about political right-leaning Twitter, because they see one clip. They see one clip of AOC dancing and mocking that crowd that's protesting her. Because that's all I saw today was that one clip of AOC shaking her shoulders and mocking the crowd. That was all I saw, that tiny little clip. And that's getting passed around Twitter right now, conservative Twitter especially, because they all hate AOC more than they hate anyone else on the planet. And they're going, oh my God, it's evidence. It's evidence that AOC's crowd are backlashing against her. It's evidence. Look, guys, AOC's mocking her crowd. They're yelling at her. What they didn't do is play the full video. This is why we watched the full video. Because if they had cut that one clip of AOC shaking her shoulders and mocking that crowd, and they had cut that together with the full crowd giving her a standing ovation at the end, that paints a very different picture, doesn't it? That paints an extremely different picture. This crowd is not rebelling against AOC. There were a couple of people, and I think that those couple of people were awesome. Don't get me wrong. Good for them. Good for them. More of that, please. But the fact of the matter is this crowd was completely in AOC's corner, and even though you've got one disruption, doesn't mean she doesn't have the crowd. It doesn't mean she doesn't have the room. It doesn't mean that this is something that's going to catch on, and I do think people need to be aware of this, because, again, I see this happen where something makes the rounds in conservative circles and they get all excited about it and they say, oh, the tide is turning, the tide is turning. I guess we can just continue to sit in our easy chair and do nothing, because conservatives don't like going out and doing this stuff. And they see a video, they're like, oh my God, people are doing something amazing. This is awesome. The tide is turning. And then they continue to sit back and do nothing because their influencers have shown them a 1-minute snippet out of an 8-minute video that looks really good. But then you watch the full video and you find out that nothing has changed. Nothing is different. Nothing is going to change. But in the minds of the people who saw that video, they're like, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Culture's coming to us. People are waking up. People are seeing. No, they're not. Now, maybe if that protest happened over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, maybe it would. But as it stands right now, ain't nothing has changed. You just got a great little video for a minute, and it is a good video, and I'm acknowledging that. But that doesn't mean it paints the full picture of what's going on. All right, we got about 20 more seconds of this. I just want to do my due diligence and watch it because I just gave you a lecture about doing your due diligence and watching the full video. So let's watch the last 20 seconds.
Thank you very much.
But look at that woman. That woman is the true hero of this video. She's still standing there holding up her sign going AOC, an obvious criminal. I thought that dude that was like, it's racist against straight people at the beginning, I thought he was the hero of this video. No, that woman is the hero of this video. Still standing there, proud, holding up her sign. And every conservative in the world should learn a lesson from that woman. Every conservative in the world who is scared of going to a protest or is scared of going to a rally because they're like, they're going to hurt us. They're going to key our car. They're going to attack us. They're going to yell at us. That woman is standing there proud, holding up her sign in a room full of people who hate her, and she is just fine. If conservatives don't find their balls like that woman found hers, figuratively, of course, then that article that we looked at earlier, that article that we looked at the beginning, let's just remind ourselves of what's coming if conservatives don't find their fucking balls. California. The bill prevents young adults engaging in non-vaginal sex with a minor within 10 years of their age from being automatically added to the sex offender registry and allows a state judge to make that decision instead. That's what's coming. And what's really coming, conservatives, if you don't find your balls, is that. This is really what's coming right here if conservatives don't find their balls. Phil, I did share this article on Twitter, but I wrote it during my permanent Twitter ban, I think. So I shared it on the actively Unwoke Twitter because I didn't have my other Twitter then. So, conservatives, do you want to be brave? Like that woman we just saw in the video, standing there, holding up her sign? Or do you want that to be your reality? Because that is literally what we're talking about, guys. If the political right does not start activating themselves and actually going out and doing things and actually going out and filing lawsuits when they are wronged, this is what we are talking about, and I am not exaggerating. Conservatives have got to stop listening to their influencers who are telling them that they are winning. They are not winning. And I do not even care what the election results are in November. I don't care. Because even if there really is the red wave, even if that actually does happen, it doesn't matter. Because the left is institutionalizing all of their crazy policies. They are institutionalizing it. And they're not just institutionalizing it in law, by the way. They're institutionalizing it in terms of school policy. In the school policy documents, where people don't look and read because it's boring. And that's why I'm building a program to train 10,000 parents how to find out what's going on in the schools using publicly available information, because everything that the woke progressive left is doing is out there right now. It's out there right now. You just need to look for it, and you need to know it. You need to understand what you're reading. And I can teach you how to find it because I've spent the last 3 years learning how. Listen, I don't like reading boring policy documents. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world. But when something is important, you step up. I'm going to help 10,000 parents use publicly available information to find out what the schools are teaching their kids. I'm building the training program for it right now. It will launch in January. If you would like to get in on that program or help me fund it because you think it's a good idea, head over to unwokearmy.com/parents. And that's going to redirect to this Indiegogo campaign. You can also go to Indiegogo directly and look for the Schools Exposed program. This is fully funded. The initial funding period ends in 4 days. There are some great perks you can get. Then it's going to go into a soft funding period after that. So you will still be able to donate or get access to the program by funding through Indiegogo, even after the next 4 days, because I've already met my funding goal. So it's already going to get built and launched, and I know that. But I can't do this without you guys. I cannot do this without your participation. If you know of parent groups that would be interested in this type of program, please let them know. Please share this with your friends and family. I am 100% serious about doing this. I know I joke a lot online because I have a very dry, sarcastic sense of humor, and it's the only way I can stay sane. But this is something I am deadly serious about. Over the next 2 years, I'm going to run 10,000 parents through this program. I'm going to teach them how to use information on school websites, on district websites, on social media, and how to do FOIA requests, public records requests, to find out what schools are teaching. I'm going to make on-demand videos that they can access anytime. We're also going to do monthly live sessions. And I need 10,000 parents getting through this. That'll be 200 parents in every single state. And 200 parents in every single state is army. It is an unstoppable force. What if there was just one parent, just one, in every single school district in America that knew how to keep an eye on what that school district was doing? That is the purpose of this program. If you want to reach out to me for questions, I am more than happy to answer them. But for right now, we're going to wrap up our stream for the day. Please mount that like button if you enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. on my second channel, not on my main channel, but on my second channel, youtube.com/activelyunwoke. I will also be on Odyssey, Rockfin, Rumble, Getter, all the other places I stream as well. And thank you guys who are watching me on those platforms. I really do appreciate it. But we'll be doing happy hour tomorrow at 5 p.m. I look forward to seeing some of you there. Take care. Have a great rest of your day.